Action for Housing says it has serious concerns following the Principal Auditor's report and its findings that the Chief Minister was personally involved in the allocation of government housing. Action for Housing, the pressure group, highlights that Fabian Picardo has not denied being involved in the allocation of government housing. Fabian Picardo actually said that while he can't go into the details of cases, they are harrowing, and he believes that those on the housing list would have agreed with the need for him to intervene. Good afternoon to Henry Pinna.
Good afternoon.
We also heard Fabian Picardo, before I forget, say that Action for Housing rarely has anything positive to say about the government. What would you say by way of reply?
No, that's not true. I mean, when recently the halfway house for single men was announced, we said, well done, and we applauded it. So we are objective. As regards the question that we have on today, we have in the past, on many occasions, said that chief ministers should not get involved in the allocation of government housing, not past ones, present ones, or future ones. Because, you know, if you open the door to people to go and see the chief minister, only those with access to him would be able to see him. Also, he hasn't got the full picture, and whereas the housing department has. So it would be difficult for him to assess one case against another or many others, since he hasn't got the whole picture. Now, according to the auditor's report, out of 27 cases that he looked into, 5 had been dealt with by the chief minister.
So a little under a fifth.
That's right. So we don't know how many in all he has been involved in, because if out of 25, out of 27, 5 were looked into. I mean, we don't know how many. So our stand is that chief ministers, any chief minister, present, past or future, should not get involved in the allocation of flats.
Henry, let me put to you Fabian Picardo's response, which is that any intervention on his part was limited to urgent situations that involved serious risk or abuse.
Well, before we answer that, what is the point of the chief minister getting involved in the allocation of government flats when there is a ministry for housing, there's a minister, there is a whole department, and there's also the Housing Allocation Committee? So is he making all these people and all these departments redundant by himself getting involved? That shouldn't be.
But presumably he liaises with them, no? He'll speak to them when there's a very urgent case.
But he hasn't got the full picture, as I said before.
Even if he speaks to all of them?
I think so. He hasn't got the full picture. Because the people in the department are the ones who have access to some 800 applicants, including medical aid plus, social cases of homelessness. Now, surely some of these must be more important than the ones he handles because he says that they are acute or urgent, which is not always true, because as we said way back in the 2021, when we highlighted the case of someone who had been given a government flat, regardless of the fact that that person did not qualify as urgent, at least one case that we've been able to portray shows that the chief minister did not use his so-called vision of urgency, because in this one case, this person was given a flat promptly when others take years. So how do you justify that?
And you don't think that in that specific case in 2021 that Fabian Picardo's intervention was because of serious risk or abuse, which is what he has said his interventions have been limited to?
No, it wasn't.
You know the facts of
absolutely.
That case?
We know the facts. We've been able to compare that case with others. and that case was not urgent. Yet that person was given a flat within weeks, whereas others might take years to make it.
So just to at the risk of asking a similar question, the Chief Minister has access to the Housing Allocation Committee. He has access to the Housing Ministry, to the Housing Minister and all the professionals, the civil servants working in there. Why do you think that his decisions would not take into account their knowledge of all of the cases?
That is something that one must ask them. I don't know. I don't know, but I suppose if the Chief Minister calls and says, look, I want to give this case urgency, whether it is disputed or not, I don't know. I haven't got inside information. But what I'm saying is that there should be no need for the Chief Minister to get involved in the allocation of housing when there is a whole system put in place to do exactly that.
And do you think that this undermines fairness in how houses are allocated?
To a certain extent, yes, I think so.
So what's your message to the government and to those involved in allocating affordable government rentals?
It was what I said at the beginning, that it should be up to the administration of housing to administer and allocate housing for those who are on the waiting list, and not anybody else.